this is Troy with Coaster Universe, back again with Coaster Tycoon World. I'm sorry for my inconsistency with my uploads lately. I will hopefully have that all sorted out and have a little bit more time here in the future, so hopefully I can get back to my regular upload schedule. But I hope you all enjoyed the winter chill out videos, and by the time this came out, the new series may or may not have come out yet, but that will be up shortly if it has not come out yet. So today I'm going to talk about the other park in Ohio that's owned by Cedar Fair, Kings Island. Now, Kings Island has to be one of my favorite parks, especially Diamondback. That is the only Kings Island coaster, in my opinion, is a top 10 coaster. But others may have opinions because you may not know this, but I'm not a huge fan of B&M's new inverting coasters. To me, they're okay. I like the old ones better. Like, I like Raptor and Afterburn better than Banshee, just for the fact. To me, they're more forceful, and I enjoy the older B&Ms more. It's just a personal opinion, but to me, Diamondback's the only top 10 roller coaster in that park. I'm first going to start off with what I think is the best area of the entire park. My favorite area of the park has to be the area down towards the end of International Street, kind of down by the Vortex general area. Something with that to me just feels more nostalgic than a lot of amusement parks feel, just for the fact you have Vortex on one side, the bumper cars on the other, Racer on the other side, and then just Zephyr and all the other old stuff down towards that end of it. Now, the area to me that has the most good rides would be Action Zone. The only problem with Action Zone, I feel like, is the fact that Vertigo is kind of hidden down behind the Super Flume over there. I feel like Vertigo really should be brought more out into the open because, to me, it was kind of hidden back in the corner and ignored. But the coaster that's even more out of the way, and I think everybody agrees that something should be done to bring it more to the general public's knowledge that's back there, is Flight Deck, or now known as the Bat. That coaster is really kind of out in the middle of nowhere compared to the rest of the park. Just the way that you're flying in and out of that valley, out what seemingly is out in the middle of nowhere, I just really love the Bat. It's, to me, the best aero suspended coaster I've ridden, because I've ridden all three of the ones in the US, and I can say that is definitely the best of the three. Now, sticking to the topic of coasters that are out of the way, I'm now going to talk about Flight of Fear, which is backed by Firehawk, and those are the only two coasters that are back in that general area of the park. I'm going to start off with their only indoor coaster, which is Flight of Fear. To me, that is a really good ride. I was not expecting that the first time I rode it, because I was expecting it to be like Disaster Transport, because at the time, that was the only indoor roller coaster I've ever ridden. So I was expecting it to be a tame indoor coaster. I was definitely wrong on that. To me, that is one of my favorite indoor coasters, and it is really intense, and the thing I like the most about it is the fact it goes upside down, and that it has lap bars, and not like most having the shoulder harnesses which you bang your head on and just gives you a headache. Now, we're going to talk about Firehawk. Firehawk, to me, is one of my favorite coasters in the park, just for the fact that it used to be up here in northern Ohio at Jog Lake, as you all know, as X-Flight. Now, I always call it X-Flight, so that's what I'll always know it by, and I just really missed the ride, and I'm happy that they got it. And for those who don't know, it was actually originally supposed to go to Kings Island, but after Paramount saw all the mechanical issues when it was at the Stealth at Great America, they decided that they weren't going to put it at Kings Island as well, so they sold it to Six Flags instead, who got it for cheaper, so that's why it went to Jog Lake, because they were trying to build up the coasters there. If you want to read more about that, look it up, because there's a whole article on that, but that was something kind of interesting I found about. So, in all, it ended up in its original intended park that it's supposed to go to. Let's now talk about International Street. To me, the best ride on International Street is hands down the Racer. That is one of my favorite wooden coasters. I just love the old out and back coasters. Even if they're not old, I just like the out and back coasters because they generally have a lot of airtime and are just really fun. And the fact that it's racing, that makes it so much better in my opinion. Now, a lot of parks don't do the racing, and I notice Kings Island tends to have them racing more than most parks ever do. I'll be honest, of the triplets, which is Racer, Rebel Yell, and Thunder Road, I personally actually like Thunder Road the most because Thunder Road was recently retracked, so smoother than Rebel Yell and Racer. So Carowinds, to me, made a huge mistake removing theirs because it really was a good ride. And so is King's Islands and King's Dominions, but Carowinds was still the best. But aside from that, it's still a really good ride. One major thing I think they should do to International Street is add a few more flat rides, because I noticed from opening year, they've started lacking on flat rides more and more every year because they tend to remove them and not really replace them. Like, they used to have some pretty cool older rides that should never have left, and you can name them. To me, their biggest mistake was removing a ride that you all know, everybody loved. They removed it in 2002 and it went to Carowinds. We all know exactly which ride that is. If you don't know which ride I'm talking about, you aren't a true Kings Island fan, because everybody knows this ride. I've ridden it at Carowinds, and it is definitely better than the new one they have. They should never have removed it. They should have kept it right where it was at, because now it's just a picnic area, and I don't even think it's a public picnic area. It's just a private picnic area now. I really think they should have brought that back instead of getting a new one. Now let's talk about the actual coasters. They're big coasters. I'm going to start off with talking about Banshee and then work my way to the best. So with Banshee, I love that coaster. There's no doubt about it. But I kind of have the issue with the fact that it's not like other B&M inverts. To me, with the new restraints, they kind of lack the forces and the moving around in the seat that you get on the old ones, which to me made the old ones better. Because I don't know why, but I kind of like being able to move around in the seat a little bit, not being fully restrained in like the giant vests do. So to me, that kind of brings it down on the list. So that's the main reason it's not top 10. But I really do love the pretzel knot in the night, because when you dive down to the valley, it's colder down in the valley than it is up in the main park. So you dive down the valley and it's just really cold compared to everything else. And to me, that just gives a really cool aspect to the ride. Now for one of the two only wooden coasters on my top 10 list. Oh, I take that back. I did say earlier that Diamondback was the only top 10 worthy coaster. I take that back. They have two top 10 worthy coasters, because no doubt about it, Beast is a top 10 worthy coaster. It is my second favorite wooden coaster, and that coaster is all out just awesome. Because just the way that you go up that lift hill, then you dive down in that valley into the tunnel, you're just flying through the woods. Then you go up that second lift hill into that giant helix through the tunnel, then back out, then back into the tunnel. Then you go flying back up into the brake run. To me, that is just one of the coolest coasters I think I've ever ridden. Now, my favorite coaster in the park, like I said earlier, is Diamondback. I just love the airtime. I love how smooth it is, how it just goes way out into the woods. And that's why I'm looking forward to Mystic Timbers, is because I know GCI and I know it's going to be filled with a ton of airtime. That about wraps it up for this episode. Please go and follow me on Twitter and Facebook in the description below. Join the Coaster Universe forums. And thanks for watching. This is Troy with Coaster Universe, signing off.